In this short video, we're going to use these bullet items here on the list to make them into buttons for a navigation system using CSS Flex. All right, now I have some code just for window dressing, but the only thing you need is this nav UL with the list items. Each list item is going to have a dead link, and then we put menu one, whatever you want, menu one, menu two, whatever, doesn't matter. All right, I do have some CSS, but it's just again for window dressing, and all it's doing is adding some background to the footer and the header and the main, and then some padding. So there's nothing here that we need to worry about. All right, as a matter of fact, I'm going to set my my window here so it's only showing the nav. Okay, there you go. And the CSS, we're going to go ahead, and really the work is going to start here. All right, so once you have your nav and your list items ready, let's get to work. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is the easiest thing to do right now to make these bullets look like buttons and like a menu is obviously we're gonna remove the bullets out of there, the little dots, and we're also gonna get rid of the underline. That's easy place to start, I think. All right, so let's do it. All right, so now I'm gonna target the nav UL. Just kind of keep it in mind because if I do only UL, it's going, and then I have more list items in the text, it's also gonna take care of those. So that's not what I want. So I'm always very mindful about targeting my selectors. All right, so let's do list style type. Okay, and they're gone. Right. Now we're going to get rid of the underline, and the underline is caused by the anchor tag, so we need to target that one. So I'm gonna say, I can say nav A, okay, and that will do the trick, or I can write a full path of it. So SL like that. Either way, it will work. All right, so I'm gonna say text decoration none, okay, and the underline is gone. Right, so next step is let's add some a little bit of background to the list items so they start looking like buttons. So let's say, and now we're gonna stick with whatever colors we're using right now. So I'm just gonna reuse that blue. All right, that's very good. Okay, now let me change the color of those. Let's change the color to white, so there will be more contrast to it. All right. Looking good. Now let's add a little bit of padding. Okay, so let's do 10 pixels and see what happens. All right, okay, so now this is ugly, right? The menus start stacking on top of each other. So what's that going on? So what happened is that the anchor tag is an inline tag, so it doesn't have width or height, you know. So it's being contained by a list item. Okay, so the list item is really constraining these things. So what can we do? The easiest thing to do will be to probably change the anchor tags and change the display. So we're going to take, we know it's an inline display, so we're going to change it to, let's try block and see what happens. All right, so there you go. So now we have block. Okay, so now they're using the whole space. By the way, I just noticed that I need to remove the padding from the UL. So it goes, sorry, padding 0. Okay. All right, very good. So now we do have the menus using the whole thing, okay? Now the other option I have here is to make them into inline block, right? So that's gonna constrain them to whatever size they decide to do. Now there's some issues with that, we'll figure them out a little bit later. All right, now let's add a little bit of a space between the items here. And to do that, we're gonna target the list items. So let's say nav. I can say again nav or ULLI, doesn't matter. Right, and let's set the margin 1 pixel. Okay, very good. So now they look like individual items. All right, now here's where we're gonna, so they look pretty good. We can round the borders and all that. You know what, let's go ahead and do it. Border radius, okay, let's do 5 pixels. All right, so we can do a whole bunch of different things as far as formatting goes. But anyway, now what I want to show you is a couple things that can throw you off, because this looks really nice right now, right? But let's say that this one has more content. Okay, so now we have one menu that is longer than the others, and that might work in some cases, but in this case kind of breaks down the aesthetics of it. So I want all the menus to resize to this one if needed to be. All right, so what I'm gonna do, the way I'm gonna fix that is I'm gonna make him a block again. So instead of saying inline block, I'm gonna change him back to block. And remember, this is just depending on the situation. So that's it. Now, I also don't want them to use the whole space here. I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna look for something that I can use to constrain them. And that's gonna be the parent, okay, which is the UL. So I'm gonna use the UL, and I'm gonna also change the display to inline block, okay, because that is going to cause the UL to reduce its size just to accommodate from the longer entry in those buttons. So that way I can add more to it, even more, okay, and the buttons are going to always adjust to that one. All right, so that takes care of that. So now have buttons that auto resize, if I want to keep them looking kind of like the same. All right, let's do something fun to break this down. So here we're gonna make him do a little rollover effect here. Okay, so it's gonna be nav ul, okay, li and a. Okay, and by the way, the reason I choose the anchor tag is because if you choose, you can do the same with the list item, but the link is only going to work on the anchor tag. So this button here, if I had to make them on the list item, I might have problems with the user clicking here. So that's why we choose to work with the anchor tags. All right, so now we're gonna use a pseudo element here, which is hover, okay, and let's say pseudo class, my bad. Pseudo elements is after and before and all that. But so this means that this code that I'm about to put is only going to work when the user puts the mouse on top of the menu. So let's change a couple of things really quick here. So maybe the color. So let's do the background first. So I'm gonna just choose maybe a dark shade of gray just for the example. So maybe 333. Forget the pound. Okay. All right, and I'm also going to change maybe the color, so you get the both there. So color, so pound FFA 500, which is a shade of orange. All right, so here it goes. All right, so now you can see how you can make a hover, and there's a lot of things you can do with this hover. Just make sure that avoid things like changing the font size, because that's gonna cause the menu to throw everything else off place. So be careful doing things that messed up with the layout and push things around. All right, anyway, all right, so here's the best part. So we have already a very nice vertical menu, and now we're gonna convert it into a horizontal menu. All right, so for this, it's actually gonna be pretty easy. All we have to do is go to the UL. So we're gonna select our UL here. We're just gonna change the display to flex. And there it is. Now we have a horizontal menu. So pretty simple, right? Okay, so there's more things we can do with flex. So let's experiment with some of them. All right, so we can, for example, change where the buttons are showing on the screen. So let's do justify content. Okay, and we can say flex end, so that's gonna move them over there. Okay, now we can also say center. We can also say space around. Okay, let me fix that. All right, space around. And I think there's one new one that is called space evenly. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that works. So again, there's a little difference between those. If you notice, the space kind of here changes, There's a third one. I don't know if I used it already, so I'm sorry if I repeat myself. Speak between. Missing a knee. There you go. Okay, See, there's very tiny difference between the way they work here. And that is how easy it is to use CSS Flex to create a navigation menu, horizontal or vertical. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Go code!